Hi, I'm Marybeth Van Horn. Welcome to Nurse Chats. And now we're going to talk about the brain. And the brain is quite interesting, intricate, mysterious, extensive. There are major books written about the brain. So I'm just going to touch on a few things that I've learned in the last couple of years. My daughter, Erin, has been a great mentor for me. She is a personal trainer and she's was a massage therapist, but she's doing something now called Z, as in zebra, health, and it's all about the brain and training the body to respond, or I don't even know, I don't say it right. Training the brain, using your brain to change your body, and the brain's everything. Basically, that's what I've learned, and that the brain's number one function is survival. And so the brain will say, "Oh, I have a scar on my right knee, so I really can't use that knee that way or very much, or I'm going to send pain there because there's a danger zone there. There's a scar there." That's a perfect example. So my daughter works with like different techniques to help the body, the brain GPS system remap. So the brain is a GPS for your body. And if you can remap that, you can get, this is what I'm saying, you can get over almost anything. It's not mind over matter. Mind over matter is different. We're talking about the actual brain signals. And we were laughing because it's gotten to be a term that's becoming familiar, is neuroplasticity. And meaning that the brain is what we call a plastic organ, meaning that it can adapt, it can change. The neuroplasticity is a common term now, and I think people are learning it more and more. You hear it from doctors, you hear it from physical therapists. It's important to know that, for hope for all of us, that we can make a lot of changes just by changing the message that's the GPS, the brain is getting, sending, whatever. So example of parts of the way the brain receives information is how I've learned it. Now again, if my daughter watches this video, she'll be like, "Mom, that's not what I said." But this is how I interpret it, okay, guys? But there's the vestibular system, the ear, the vestibular system. There's the ocular system, the eyes. There's the senses. There's the barosystem, meaning the pressure against your body, how you perceive where your feet are on the floor, or the barosystem, how you perceive temperature. Okay, is that hot? Is it cold? Your sensory system, right? And then when there are little techniques that I've learned and that are out there in the world, not just with Z Health or my daughter, but there's other people who are getting more and more aware of this kind of science. But if you look at an object, let's say your thumb in front of you, and that's me, like this is what I do. I'll look at my thumb here, and then I'll shake my head like this or like this. That's an example, right? And that's using your vestibular system and your ocular system together, because you're looking at an object and you're shaking your head. And that's, she calls it vestibular oculo movement. Okay, that's an example of how you can use the message systems in your body to help train your brain, or your brain train your body, whatever. Sometimes just a small movement can tell the brain, "I'm safe. It's okay to do." You don't have to keep holding that. So me, who had a left shoulder rotator cuff injury, I can lift my arm way up. I'm very lucky that way, right? So I can go around with my arm. I've trained with a physical therapist for a long time to be able to do that. I have full range of motion in my arm. But there are people in the world who come to, they get to a point where they have to literally lift up their body to go into a cabinet because they don't have that range of motion. Okay. So that could be something, what we call mechanical, going on in their body, but it's also something that could be trained with the GPS system of the brain. Can say, it's okay, it's okay. You can shake your head and look at your thumb. You can say, for some, that's why you go to these people that are experts and professionals. They know what exercises do. I don't. I follow directions though, and let's say they say, okay, do what we call an ankle tilt or whatever they're seeing, because their expertise says that's that GPS saying this. So we need to now have a mechanoreceptor, such as, again, that's the information going to the brain from another system. So mechanoreception is where you move a joint to send a message to the brain. And so if you do an ankle tilt, let's say that's what it's called, and then you put your ankle and you tilt it, right? Your foot on the floor, tilt. Send some message to the GPS that it's okay to move the shoulder or whatever. And I found out that toes relate to fingers, feet relate to hands, knees relate to, I think knees relate to hips, no, elbows, and hips relate to shoulders. And pelvis relates to the neck, of course, because it makes sense. The vertebra go from all the way from the neck down into the back, into that pelvic, behind the pelvic areas. That makes sense to me. But when you do these exercises, and however, again, you use those mechanoreceptors, you can affect how the brain sends the message to the affected part, even though you're not working on exactly the affected part in your mind. But the brain is wired for survival, and it will send basically a danger signal to itself for anything that it perceives as danger, which may or may not even be a real danger at this time. Again, me with an example, let's just use one of my knee replacements. So my brain says, there's a scar there. Oh gosh, we can't do this, whatever. And then I might have my scar taped, for example, and it's sending a different message now. And then all of a sudden I can do stuff I couldn't do. It's the craziest thing ever, guys. I'm serious. The brain is an amazing thing. And those of us who understand that today, understand that we're moving forward in medicine, not backwards. And we're trying to figure out all kinds of things that can help people in the future. And I'll be talking about a lot of innovations and things over these nurse chat answers those questions. I'm happy to do the legwork for you. Okay. And I'm looking forward to talking to you soon. Bye bye now.